Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance, and we're joined today by Nanette Barragan. She is a nominee for the United States Congress. The seat is currently held by Janice Hahn. She is not running for re-election. Nanette served on the Hermosa Beach City Council, but is now running for Congress. Congratulations on your primary. How'd it go so well?
We just worked hard. We're talking to the voters. We're on the ground, knocking on doors, and getting our message out there, talking about the issues.
So when you talk to voters, both before the primary and now after the primary, what are they saying to you?
They're saying we want somebody who's going to fight for us. We want somebody who's going to talk about the issues, and that's what we're doing. I also tell them my personal story,
Right.
that I'm the daughter of immigrants, that I beat the odds here, that I got a piece of the American dream, and now I'm running to make sure they have that same opportunity.
Do they feel as if that American dream is turning into an American nightmare? Because when we look at the presidential race, the candidates really see and describe America differently. One has a much more optimistic view, another a more pessimistic view. What are your voters saying?
Well, my message has always been running on hope. It's
Okay.
running to make sure they have a chance at the American dream. And they tell me, you give my children hope. Now, when we look at the presidential race, they get very worried and they're very scared. We have had undocumented people come into our office and say, I can't vote, but how can I help you?
Interesting.
And so we are seeing firsthand the impact of the presidential race. We hear stories of children who have nightmares at night, worried their parents are going to be sent back. Right? For me, being the daughter of immigrants from Mexico,
Right.
I try to assure them that if we get out and vote, if we work hard, we're going to work hard, and that I will be there fighting for them.
Do you have a sense that those that may be immigrants from Central America, let's say, who are now citizens, are they going to get out and vote? Because traditionally, Latino voting patterns have suggested a bit of a malaise in terms of commitment to the ballot box.
Right. Well, what we do know is generally in primaries, they don't turn out to vote. And even when I was knocking on doors in Southgate, they would say, I'll see you in November. And so part of it's an education issue of making sure to tell them the importance of the June primaries. But traditionally in my district, we have seen Latinos turn out to vote for president. There's something about the general presidential election, and Donald Trump is going to give us an additional reason to turn out and vote.
So let's talk about education, which you mentioned. You indicated that you went to college. You went to law school, first in your family. But what we know about your district is that college education numbers are pretty darn low. How low are they, Nanette?
Only 10% of students in my district go on to college.
Really?
It is startling and it's unacceptable.
Why is that happening? Is it the cost? Is it the lack of knowledge about how to matriculate to college? Is it poor K-12 education preparation?
I think there's a number of factors. One is sometimes kids tell me, I can't afford to go to college. I say, you can't afford not to go to college.
Right.
Right? So one of the things we have to work on is debt-free college.
Can we talk about that? Because when we look at debt amongst our college graduates, the numbers are staggering. In 2015, college debt totaled $1.2 trillion. That is triple what it was in 2004. It's as if there is a second mortgage on your life. You have to pay your college debt as if it's a mortgage payment.
That's exactly what it is. When I got out of law school, I had a ton of debt. I wanted to do public interest work, and I ended up taking a law firm job to pay down the debt. And my father died at 23, so I was also taking care of my mom. Now, I still have college debt, and this is why kids say I can't afford to go, but we need to make sure it's affordable. You know, rising Pell Grants. It
can be a challenge, and I know that your district generally faces more economic challenges than others, but you would be a member of Congress for all, ultimately, and so
Absolutely.
I asked this question. Folks that are at the bottom of the economic spectrum often can find financial support. Folks at the top don't need that support. It's that middle class where you make too much money to get help, but you don't have enough money to pay for a private institution.
But in this district, the median income is $44,000. So we're talking about people who are at the lower end. And so one is college affordability. Two, it's investing in early childhood education so that they are on the same page and have an equal playing field, which is not happening. And then you have the school to prison pipeline that's happening in this district. So there are so many issues on the education front we need to address.
But can we look at questions not only of those that are the neediest, but those that may be needy? You see
and
what I'm
that is
getting
the
at?
district. That's exactly who we're talking
I see what
about.
you're saying.
We're talking about in this district, those needy folks are the kids that need the help the most.
So what can be done? What can you do as a member of Congress? We know that there have been fights currently about the interest rates
Exactly.
that college students are having to pay. Your future friends on the Republican side have been less than willing to look at decreasing that rate. You presumably would join the Democratic caucus, which may or may not be in the minority. How will you move the ball?
Well, first of all, it's not acceptable that you can get a lower refinance rate on a mortgage than you can on a student loan. So that is something I'm going to fight for. Second of all, we need to increase Pell Grants. Now, they are going up this year, but that's something we need to look at and continuing to do because the cost of college has gone up like 300%, right? We also, I support the president's free community college program, and we've just seen proposals to have, children and families who are making under $125,000 get access to free college. And we need to move towards that because education is the #1 equalizer.
We look at your district, we look throughout Los Angeles County, and what we see is a homeless crisis like none other. LA County has become the homeless capital of the nation. And it's not just on Skid Row. It's in Compton, it's in Carson, it's in Southgate, it's in San Pedro, it's in Brentwood, it's in Westwood, it's everywhere.
It's a huge issue in my district. San Pedro, where I live, I see it every single day. We need to make efforts and continued efforts to partner up with local elected officials because there is some work being done. But on the federal level,
please, yes.
We need to do 3 things. One is we need to absolutely take care of our veterans when they come home.
Although interestingly, if you look at the numbers, veterans homelessness is a bright spot. We do see veterans homelessness coming down, but point well taken.
Yeah. Second of all, we need to invest in mental health services because a lot of people who are on the streets are suffering from mental health issues. And so that's the second thing that we absolutely need to do. But
what about the question of affordability? And when I ask you that, Nanette, I don't mean affordable housing as we think about it as low-income housing. I'm talking about the person who makes $44,000 a year, which is a very respectable living, can't afford to buy a house.
Right. Well, that is a whole different issue. But we do need to invest in affordable housing. There's no doubt about it because right now what you do here on the homeless front is there's not enough housing opportunities. And even when people get vouchers, they can't find a place to use it.
You speak the truth. I mean, that is the fact. The statistics bear that out, that the vouchers given by the federal government don't meet the market rate that is required of local landlords.
Right.
And that's just the way it is. We're in Los Angeles County.
And here's the other thing. People don't realize the impact it's having on the economy.
Right.
Because in San Pedro alone, we have businesses who say, I can't be here anymore because my customers can't even walk to my front door without being bothered and we have to leave. So this is an economic issue as well.
Her name is Nanette Barragan. She is a nominee for the United States Congress. I'm Brad Pomerance, Charter Local Edition.